Hello, my impatients. It is everybody's favorite vegetable mind. Andrew the Android Koloski here. How art thou? How are things going with you? I am live. I hope you will join and engage with me and talk to me. I know it's about noon on a Friday. I'm assuming most people are at work. But you never know. Maybe we'll get some people joining. Maybe we'll get some people joining. Stranger things have happened in this world. Stranger things have happened. Like, what are some strange things that have happened in this world? I don't know. I'm sure there's some strange things that have happened. I can't think of any examples off the top of my head, but I'm sure there's some peculiar and strange things that have occurred in this world. So we got one inpatient. So we'll see. We'll see what they're all about. What they're going to do. To be honest with you, I don't have a lot to talk about. I know some people like my live streams. I know some people like when I go live. They say this is the best content I create. It's better than my DSLR performances. I'm like, okay, fair enough. Basically, I often let the inpatients dictate the flow of. So we got the Oracle in the house. How art thou, the Oracle? Somebody says, did the stalker return last night? No. What happened last night was I got Taco Bell and went to bed. No stalker last night. Some people speculate maybe it was some drunk kids in the neighborhood moving plants around. Maybe it had nothing to do with me. We're only assuming it had something to do with me. I know Giant Bickletter says maybe there were some drunk kids in the neighborhood and they were moving plants from one house to another. That's a possibility. Rambunctious kids. All we're doing is assuming it was somebody who is romantically interested in me. That's all we're doing. There's no evidence of that yet. Somebody says, what do you think the Occam's razor is for the plant? I don't know what Occam's razor is. I don't know what that means. Let's Google what that means. I know somebody said to me, they think it's somebody who wanted to confirm my address, basically. The plant was relatively inexpensive. And if they put a plant in front of my house and I talked about it on social media, well, I'd be confirming my address for stalkers, which I boneheadedly proceeded to do. I basically gave the stalkers confirmation as to what my address is. And but then again, maybe maybe there was some stalkers who wanted to get confirmation of my address, and like an idiot, I'm like, oh, by the way, there was a plant that was delivered, and I confirmed and corroborated to them. Oh yeah, by the way, you got the right address. You didn't make a mistake. Erie says, I would be scared. To be honest with you, I'm not too scared. Frankly, if somebody wants to get me, like I said in another video, I mean, the best way to get me would be basically a drive-by shooting. You know what I mean? While I'm on a walk, down like an empty road, drive by me, pop, pop, pop. I mean, I'm not saying obviously I want to live a long life. I want to live to 99 years old, but I'm not like one of these pop superstars with bodyguards. I'm not like getting defended like these pop stars and movie stars. So if somebody really wants to get me, if somebody really wants to kill me, I mean, frankly, I have no bodyguards. So, I mean, it's. Erie asks, do you really think it's somebody who loves you? I know other people have a theory. It's just drunken kids who are moving plants around the neighborhood, and they were probably laughing and being silly. So that's a possibility too. We have no idea. Frankly, at this point in time, we have no idea why they put the plant there. But somebody says it's either someone messing around with people's plants, like drunken kids, or it's the people who set you up on a date with mama. Those are the two explanations. Yeah, I mean, those are two explanations basically. I'm not scared though. I'm not really scared. Somebody says raspberry bushes are an invasive species. If you plant the bush, it will overtake your backyard. All right, Erie. All right. Somebody says your neighbors probably have better views on their security camera. Somebody says, what if it fell off a truck and totally unrelated to you? Well, it was put in front of my house, pizza pasta. So it was put like close to the house. I mean, it's possible there's no nefarious intentions here. It's possible it's just, you know, but somebody asks me, have I tried clonazepam or clozaril? To answer your question, no, I've never been on clozaril. I know Dr. Copland's been pushing for clozaril for years now. Apparently, you have to be on weekly blood tests, and it's a hardcore medication. And that's the reason I don't want to take it because I just don't want to get weekly blood tests because it can affect white blood cell count. I don't want to take it for a number of reasons, but the main reason is the weekly blood tests. There's what does the person look like and how it. I didn't actually see the security camera footage. My mother described to me what she saw in the security camera footage. So I didn't actually see the security camera footage. My mother's just telling me. But frankly, I've got enough problems. I don't need a stalker, so just leave me alone. Let me feel safe in the world. Let me go to mental health recovery groups. La 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 la. So I got some friends coming over tomorrow. Initially, it was supposed to be a pool party, but I don't think we're going in the pool. So instead, I'll get pizza or Chinese, and we'll hang out. But anybody have any ideas of what we can do? I guess we could play games. We could draw artwork. We could take photos together. Yeah. Somebody likes my new song. The song about this is like a nightmare I can't wake up from. Somebody asks me, what gave you the idea, how I accidentally killed someone who happened to be an African American, that song? Well, obviously, I think the inspiration for that one is like that guy who killed somebody on the subway who was a homeless person, and they were trying, and he got found, he got acquitted for self defense, but they put him on trial. Also, I'm going to call a spade a spade. It's a little bit of a Derek Chauvin, George Floyd kind of thing too, even though George Floyd was convicted of first degree murder. But it's a fictitious song. It's just Or like Kyle Rittenhouse. That was another example of somebody who these are the inspirations behind the song. Somebody said the song was good though. Just imagine being on trial for murder. You know what I mean? It would be frightening, because you would be locked in prison, and that's not a good place to be. We got the Trailer Parks that she says, "Hi, you're cute. Thank you very much for calling me cute. I had a turkey sandwich for lunch today." Somebody says, "Dude, what made you make that video? Which video are you talking about, Splurge Lord?" Um, la, 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 la. Somebody says the video about this is like a nightmare I can't wake up from, being on trial for committing self-defense. They're talking about that video. I don't know. I was just thinking about Derek Chauvin. I was thinking about like the Penny guy, on the subway who was on trial for murder. I was thinking about Kyle Rittenhouse, and I was thinking about the woke moralists and the liberal media, kind of just always wanting to make people out to be racists. So, even if somebody's clearly or probably not a racist, and it was just something that this is what inspired me. This was the idea behind the song, and it was a little bit of like an improv performance art kind of thing. Obviously, I don't have any firsthand experience here, but I'm putting myself in their shoes. You know what I mean? Somebody says, "I reported you for condoning violence against minorities." I'm not, though. I'm not. I'm just. It was performance art. Somebody says, "Yes, you are, Andrew." Okay, if you say so. If you say so, Splurge Lord. If you say so. If you say so. We got iBoss in the house. Are you the real iBoss, or are you just an iBoss impersonator? Are you like an infested iBoss? Infested iBoss. Fake iBoss. So we got fake iBoss in the house. So he says, "Why do you sit like a goblin, Andrew?" Well, I don't know why. I mean, is this how goblins sit? I guess so. So he says, "Andrew, have you ever seen the movie The Shining?" No, I've never seen that movie. I like Whole Foods sushi. I like their soy nuggets. I like their sugar snap peas. I like a number of things at Whole Foods. I used to go on sushi picnics in New York City from Whole Foods. That was a lot of fun back in the day. But I still have one in the neighborhood in Massapequa that I go to for sushi and soy nuggets and sugar snap peas. So I'm a fan of Whole Foods, but it's kind of pricey. Somebody says the Whole Foods pizza is good. Somebody asks me, why am I so nervous? I've always been a nervous, anxious, timid. As a kid, I was very anxious, nervous, and timid. And I think it's because my mother is very anxious, nervous, and timid. and I'm just a scared person. I'm scared of the world. So this is Christine is timid. Yeah, my mother gets panic attacks. She's very anxious. Believe it or not, at least that's what she says. I mean, at least that's what she said. My mother, gets bad panic attacks. She gets bad anxiety. Um, Somebody says Christine seems like a drill sergeant in the army. Somebody says Christine is a frigid witch. She's like a bull in a china shop. Somebody says your mother is a hateful bitch. Somebody, all right. I think my mother gets panic attacks, and you know. Somebody says, does your mom have an OnlyFans? I think you're thinking of Mama from OnlyFans, who's a 28-year-old woman from Rockville Center who's a dominatrix. I don't think you're actually thinking of my mother. My mother is in her late 60s. She does not have an OnlyFans, to my knowledge. I highly doubt she does. I mean, if she does have one, I've never seen it, but I highly doubt it. Dumbass. Dumbass. Somebody from India says many women in my village have OnlyFans, and their mothers too. All right. To be honest with you, I think I'm going to take a hiatus from OnlyFans. We're in the process of healing. Erie wants me to drink milk from the bowl. I can do that, but not now. Somebody says breast milk, breast milk. Somebody says, Andrew, have you ever ridden roller coasters? I don't like the roller coasters that go upside down and do the loop de loops. I'm scared of crazy roller coasters. Um, so somebody says, do you regret the videos you made for Mama? I don't know. Maybe. Somebody says, what inspired you to start doing spicy content in the first place? That's a very good question. So I feel like I've been involuntarily celibate for my whole life. I've hardly had any romance or girlfriends, and in 2017 is when I first started showing my face in the spicy content, and I started posting on mature subreddits. Um, I don't really know what the reason was, but maybe it's because it gave me a little bit of a thrill. I'm a little bit of an exhibitionist, um, and it was fun getting feedback. Uh, Somebody wants a song. I'm not gonna. Giant Big Letter says he's on his way to New York City. What are you planning on doing in New York City? I haven't been to New York City in years. Maybe I'll go again soon. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to do in New York City. It is a lot of fun. You can do a lot of fun things. There's art galleries. There's parks like Central Park. There's a lot to do there. And I felt like I was Mr. New York, from 2017 till about 2021, walking around, going to psychosocial clubhouses. I felt like I was a part of the world. I was a New Yorker. I was, I felt like. So he says, "Why are you afraid of New York now?" I'm afraid of crime. I'm afraid of getting assaulted by criminals. I'm afraid of stepping on debris like hypodermic needles. And frankly, it's expensive. It's expensive taking the train to New York. So he says, "Did you ever get assaulted in New York City?" No. I've never gotten assaulted. And I know some people say by sitting in solitude, your mental health is getting assaulted. In fact, when you went into New York City, you never once got assaulted physically. My mental health by sitting in solitary confinement is getting assaulted. So overcome my fear of the real world and live life, because usually when I went into New York City, I had a lot of fun. Ugh. Mrs. Andrew, you should grow a beard. Okay, maybe. Anybody got any last questions here, or should I hit the old dusty trail? Anybody want to ask me anything? Rusty says do an hour. Somebody asks me what's my favorite kind of dog. Um, I like our Yorkshire Terrier. She's a really sweet, but she's a little toy dog. I mean, if you want a real gigantic dog, German Shepherds are pretty cool. Um, all right, guys, I think I'm gonna hit the old dusty trail. I'm kind of running out of things to talk about. I know Rusty wants me to do an hour, but I'm kind of running out of steam here. Although we got 14 people watching, and they're really hitting me up with these comments. I'm sure I'll be back later, guys. Rusty says, set up a DSLR and do some performances. Milky says, game over. What is the game? What do you mean by game over, Milky? What do you mean by that? That seems cryptic. What do you mean by game over? Milky says, what do you think? I'm about to get a girlfriend, and when I get a girlfriend, um, she's going to start telling me what to do, and a lot of the fun is going to be over. you're about to get a romantic partner, Andrew, and when you get the romantic partner, she's going to start, controlling your life, policing you, and frankly, you know, game over. Game over for the single lifestyle. TV asks, "Are you afraid of aging and getting old?" Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I want to be young, but also I could have been dead at like 21, and I'm still alive and kicking at 37. I'm still relatively healthy. I don't have a terminal cancer diagnosis yet. I'm still relatively handsome looking, so I don't really care that much yet. Maybe give me another 10 years and I'll care. But then again, I'm lucky that I'll be alive. So somebody asks, "How's my father?" I don't want to speak about my father and his cancer, but it's rough. He's going through a lot, to be honest with you. He's going through a lot. Cancer's a nightmare. No, I've eased up on my father when it comes to the persecution texts. I've eased up on him. I'm just like, yeah, just leave him alone. So he says stress makes recovery from cancer worse. Yeah, stress makes everything worse, really. Yeah. So he says, did you get? What are you talking about? Did I give my father cancer? No. I mean, I don't know what causes prostate cancer, but I'm assuming it's not me. I mean, with mental gymnastics, you could blame that on me, but you know, so he says you definitely gave your father stress. I mean, it's not. I mean, with mental gymnastics, you could say, "Oh, the stress, is what caused." But no, to answer your question, no, I didn't. I mean, you could say the mega regimen of psychiatric medications causes cancer. If I get a brain cancer diagnosis, could I sue Dr. Copland? Probably not. You know, he says, "Oh, there's no evidence these medications cause cancer." Could I sue Dr. Copland and my mother for forcing me to take that mega regimen? Probably not. But do I think it probably caused it if I do get a cancer diagnosis? Probably. Somebody says your father has real cancer. Though let's stop talking about my father and cancer, please. I don't want to talk about that. So somebody says think about somebody besides yourself. No, I know he's going through a lot with cancer, and he's going through a hard time. He's going through a really hard time. Somebody says, I know you know that, but you have not processed how hard it is for you. And you're making it worse with the constant persecutory delusions. Okay, yeah, that's exactly it. I don't think it's that I don't. I mean, I think it's that I haven't really processed officially that he has cancer and that he's sick. I don't think I finally got it yet. I know he is. It just hasn't sunk in. I mean, I understand. I mean, I get it. I get it. I get he has cancer. I get he's going through a lot. I just haven't processed it really. Somebody says, your mother is so nasty to you. Does your mother ever hug you? No, my mother's never hugged me for as far back as I can remember. She never hugs me. She tells me what a loser and a burden I am. She's cold, nasty, and abusive to me. But she feeds me dinner and she provides me with a place to live. Yeah, like they say, my mother's just nasty. And she gaslights me, she manipulates me, she messes with my mind. She does narcissistic baiting. It's just what she does. So he says, your mother never hugged you as a child? I can't remember my mother ever hugging me, really. She doesn't hug me. Somebody says, regardless if your mother is like a drill sergeant and an abusive monster or not, regardless, just try to find a romantic partner, try to find love. Because frankly, your mother is just abusive, nasty, and it just is what it is. Somebody says your mother's just a bitch. Basically, your mother's a bitch. She's nasty. She was probably trying to just whatever. Somebody says it sounds like you have mommy issues. Yeah, no, I think I do. I think I do. Somebody says, was your mother behind the HIV scare? She doesn't take accountability for anything. She denies that she was. I believe my mother and stepfather were behind the HIV scare. I believe they had premeditated intentions to pharmacologically abuse me. They deny that. They don't take accountability for that. But they don't take accountability for the running. They don't take accountability for the solitude. They don't take accountability for the mega regimen of psychiatric medications that I took. And that's something I have evidence of. So they just deny reality and try to rewrite history. So, frankly, even if they did do the HIV scare to me, they're just not going to admit to it. So it's just, they just gaslight and manipulate. They just can't tell the truth. They just can't tell the truth. That's just they're just incapable of being honest. But I'm told, my mind's going haywire. They do not have nefarious intentions. They're being honest and transparent. Toggle the emotional switch to off. Your parents had good intentions. Okay. Somebody says, "Why don't you live with your father instead of your mom?" Well, one of the reasons is my father is sick at the moment, so that's one major reason. But there's a number of reasons. All right, guys. Do you have any last questions, or should I hit the old dusty trail? So, Rusty says, "Yeah, I have a question. What is your question, Rusty? What is your question?" He wants to know my social security number. I'm not going to tell you my social security number, Rusty. I ain't telling you my social security number. Somebody asks why. Because for the obvious reasons. So he says nothing bad can ever happen from giving your social security number over the internet. Hey Gina, long time no chat. How have you been, Gina? So he says if you type in your social security number on the internet, it automatically blocks it out. All right, let me try that right now. There's my social security number. Oh, wait! You're lying. I didn't actually type in my social security number. They're like, boo! So he says, it's nice outside. Go for a walk. Yeah, maybe that's exactly what I'll do. I'll go for a walk. All right, guys, I'm going to hit the old dusty trail. Thanks for watching. Peace out, my impatience.